Welcome to this week's episode of the Gathering Place podcast, where we talk about any and everything under the sun, not just real estate. We talk about family life, friendships, food, real estate, just really anything under the sun. And today we have this is our second episode with Traci Arnwine. I call her Traci Lou. Hope calls her Traci Lou. And I think the name is just stuck.
Just kind of stuck.
Has anybody else ever called you Traci Lou?
Never before.
Okay, just us.
No, just you.
So, fun story. My wife's not here, but she'll agree. She has to come up with a nickname for everyone in her life. Has to have a nickname.
Yeah.
You're Traci Lou.
Traci Lou.
And your husband's name is Joel. For Hope.
And, well, because working with Joe and me married to Joel, that's not confusing at all.
Not at all.
So, he's actually got kids in New Mexico that called him Joel.
Yep. So, but anyway, that's how we come up with Traci Lou.
Yep.
So, anyways, we had a fun conversation on our previous episode.
Yep.
And then I just want to kind of go into, because you've really made a splash in real estate. So, whole life change, career change.
Yeah.
From corporate world into real estate world.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, because if y'all want to know how I hired and fired Traci within a day's time, go back and listen to the previous episode.
True story.
And now she's back with me, so that's really weird how that happened.
Really weird.
Really weird. Anyways, so like I said, you've made a huge splash coming into real estate.
Yeah.
You seem to like it.
I do.
It's something different every single day. I tell all of our team, I tell everyone, the process is the exact same.
Right.
When you're handling sellers, process is the exact same, but every single transaction is different.
Different personalities.
Every
time.
Same thing with buyers.
Mm-hmm.
Process is the exact same, but every day is something different.
Yeah.
So give us a little background of your real estate story.
So, coming out of, I had an opportunity to leave what I was doing, what I had been doing for many, many years. And I remember calling you saying, hey, is now a good time to get in? And you're like, or I think I texted you. I'm like, hey, are you looking to hire anybody? Is now a good time to get into real estate? And my phone rang immediately. And it's like, yes, you need to jump in.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, well, I'll take that as a sign. And so, so I did. So I got my license right away.
Yep.
And passed the test, got all done with that, and just kind of jumped in with both feet.
Hit the ground running. What I love about Traci is that, I'm talking to you in third person. What I love about you is that really, so let's see, what are you, my third team member? It's kind of still with me. So about the third team member.
Yep.
So prior to you coming into real estate, I've only been at that time, you've been with me a year and a half.
Year and a half, yeah.
So I'd been in the business 3.5 years and closed right at 300 houses in 3.5 years. So I built this process. There is nothing, I told y'all this last week, there's nothing out there online that tells you the process of selling real estate from start to finish. I've scoured Etsy, eBay, everything online. I've scoured it trying to buy a program that gives every single step, and it's not out there. However, my admin team and we spent months creating that system. Okay, so a checklist and what to do when different things come up. So I will compliment you on this. You just followed the system beautifully. If everyone would do that, it wouldn't be so hard.
It wouldn't be so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you took it and you said, okay, I'm kind of in your brain.
Yeah.
You took it and said, well, if it's working for Joe, it has to work for me.
Right.
And you just took it and you followed it to a T.
And part of that may have coming from my background.
Yeah.
You don't have any leeway to think for yourself.
Yeah.
It's like this is the way things are done.
Yeah.
And so following a process for me wasn't that out of the norm.
Yeah.
You know, so you're kind of like looking for that. It's like, okay, well, what do I do? And you guys had such good, if I ever needed to see an example of something, or I knew exactly where to go, it's like, okay, well, what goes here? Well, go look back and see how it was done before.
Yeah.
And that's what good looks like.
Yeah.
Right? So copy good.
Yep. That's
Copy
right.
good.
Yep.
Show me
Yep.
what it looks
Yep.
like, and I can do it all day long.
But
So,
so I don't really like the word lead, but when people call in or they are inquiring about a house, I say pick the phone up, call them, text them, get in touch with them within the first 5 or 10 minutes. I never even have to worry about when a lead comes to you. Is Traci going to call them? Is she going to text them? Is she following up with them? I know it's already handled. Yeah, it's already handled. And so last year was your first full year of real estate, 2022.
Yeah.
Like, it was a roller coaster. It went like this.
It did.
Right?
It
Come
did.
in with a bang, and then it falls off, and then it goes
Picks
back
back
up.
up.
And so, but that's, I'm going to just tell you, the first year of real estate is probably the hardest for most agents.
Yeah.
I'd say for 90% of agents, it's the hardest. I know
Well,
it was
there's
for me.
so much of a learning curve. You know what I mean? There's so many things. I mean, you take the classes and you get your license, but that does not
What I tell
that
you.
does not help you. Not
Everything
one
you
bit.
have to get through the
You have
classes
to
to
get
get
through
the license to be able to sell real estate. But
For
once
day
you're
to day,
done, throw it out the window. Like,
that don't
when
help. That does not help.
Yeah.
And so that now you're thrown into this world where it's just, I don't want to say trial and error, because like you said, there are processes, but it kind of is trial and error. You know, because everybody has a different personality.
So many.
And you deal with about 10 or 15 different people in one transaction.
For one transaction.
Just one.
Yeah.
So you're constantly changing.
Yep.
You know?
And you're waiting on the lender to call you back, or you got a low appraisal and you're trying to negotiate that back up, and
What happens
you're
with
waiting on
that?
them, and now you're waiting on the closing attorney to call you back for a closing date, and the buyer's like, where are we at with everything? You're like, we got it.
We
Like,
got
yeah,
it. We got
yeah.
it.
And then you've got
Yeah.
your transaction coordinators and, the people here in our office, and lots and lots and lots of communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many moving parts. So
Yep.
many moving parts
Yep.
that you're
So-
just trying to juggle.
That's
But,
right. So, but you've done it beautifully.
Yeah.
Like, you've handled it like a champ. So,
Thanks. Yeah. It's been good.
it's been good, but because it's been good doesn't mean that hasn't been hard.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Whenever I was getting my real estate license, I was 39 years old whenever I was getting my real estate license. And I'm telling you, I'd never used that part of my brain, I don't think, ever. And so it was hard.
It had at least been a long time.
It had been a long time. And so I was stretching my brain more than
Right.
I ever have in my life, I believe. And before I came into real estate, I ran a compilation of 5 different businesses, changing hats all day long. But coming into real estate, that was just a brain stretch, like, beyond belief.
It really is. It really
so
is. I don't think people don't understand what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I always say, if it were easy being an agent, number one, nobody would need a real estate agent if buying and selling houses was easy.
Right.
Number two, if being a real estate agent were easy, everyone would be doing it, right? And everyone would sell hundreds of homes a year,
Right.
because it'd be easy.
It'd be easy.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
not
easy,
that
easy.
right? So, however, you came in and just made it look like it was nobody's business, closing 28 homes her first
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it wasn't
That
too
was
bad.
good. No, that
So
wasn't too
it was
bad.
pretty cool.
Yep. Yep.
And, we were super proud, super happy for you, and you've just not slowed down at all. Like, you're on our team. We are made up of many great, great, great people, and everyone's got their own personality. Everyone has their own goals. Everyone has their own motivation and work ethic and all that. But you're kind of like the model that everyone is trying to achieve, to be like. And so everyone wants to know what Traci's doing, and how does Traci fill her paperwork out, and how does this happen? And I'm like, Well, she does it the way I told her.
Right.
So go back
right.
to the one I showed
Right.
you.
Right.
You know?
That's it.
And
Go ask.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but you're like the model. You're like the poster child
Yeah.
for coming on. you're like, do I really need to be?
Do I need to be? Do I really want
Yes,
to
you
be?
do.
Do I want to be?
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's been good.
But
it really
through
has
the
been.
whole thing, you've been able to help your brother and sister move here.
Yeah.
You helped Brandon, your son, buy a house here. So, I mean, I know that was exciting.
It was.
To be able to be his agent.
Yeah.
And to like
walk him through that. Yeah.
Be mama.
Yeah.
Looking at the house and all that, because had you not been in real estate, you probably wouldn't have been invited to go look at all the houses.
Probably not. Probably not.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah.
And he's such a good kid, and we really, gosh, that might have been the only one that we actually looked at.
Yeah.
The one that he bought.
Yeah.
I know that he looked at a couple online, and he would send them to me, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about this one?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, it's under contract now, so
right.
go to the next one."
Yeah.
You know?
And you text me or called me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Told me where it was, what it was, and the price, and I said, go for it now.
Yep.
Hurry, go
get
now.
on it, get on it. And that was kind of weird too, because we put in his offer, and they were like, we didn't really hear anything right away.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, they want somebody that's putting down more earnest money, or that doesn't want so long. There were two different things. I'm like, okay, well, next, go on.
Yep.
And the next thing I know, they're like, well, if your buyer's still interested, they want to go with it. I'm like, well, okay.
Let's go.
There we go.
And he's just right down the road from Mama.
Just right down the road. Yep. Far enough away. He came over yesterday, stood in front of the refrigerator. Don't you have food at your house?
No. I love the little memes and the reels and all of the grown kids going to their parents' house with a grocery cart and going shopping at mom and dad.
That's the truth, man. That's the truth.
Good times.
Son.
Good times.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But anyways, through that, what advice would you give new agents or agents that may have just kind of flatlined in their business? You're a year and a half in.
Yeah.
You've done phenomenal. You got to close it on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
You've done great this year.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that you would give as like your advice to the world if they're thinking about getting into real estate, new into real estate, or trying to revive their business of real estate?
I think if you're going into real estate, I think everybody has a different kind of image of an agent and what they do. And I think you need to go in there with no blinders on and know that it's not always going to be roses and unicorns.
I mean, we don't go and show pretty houses all day long and then stop in and get some lunch and then go pick up closing checks.
No.
That's not, we don't do that every day?
That's not how we do that every day.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh, crap.
No.
I need to get out of this business.
I know, right? I know. Yeah. No, there are problems that you get to deal with. Mm-hmm. There are people that are unreasonable. There are agents that can be rude and obnoxious.
Bleep.
And right, your conversation's going to be beep the whole way through. So, no, just go and don't have any blinders on when you go in. Don't have any preconceived notions. And I think for somebody who's in the business, follow-up is key.
Oh, my gosh.
Follow-up is key.
Oh, my gosh. There's two really, really great points there. So whenever I came into real estate, I literally thought we're just going to show pretty houses all day.
Right.
Like, I don't have to crawl under a house. I don't have to go into any attics.
I don't have to be painting. I don't have to be pulling
air conditioner
weeds.
all day. I
That's
can dress
right.
up, wear a suit or a white shirt and tie every day, and then we're going to go eat lunch. And I love dessert. I'm going to get different dessert every single day. And then we're going to go pick up checks at closing.
Right.
And I'm going to be able to go get my white BMW.
Yeah.
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 All right, so that was so far from the truth. I mean, what I had in my mind and what is reality were two different things.
Yeah.
I honest to God thought that's what real estate was. We're going to go show pretty houses all day, write contracts, and go pick up checks.
Yeah.
you know?
You know what? I may not be too far behind you in thinking about that too.
Well, I
Thinking
mean,
that might have been the way
on social media,
because
that
that's the
is
way it
the
comes
good parts
across,
of
right?
real estate are always put out on
Because
social media.
who puts
Yeah.
out the part where you're crawling around on the ground or
Or
you
breaking into a house
break
because the key won't come out
the
the
key,
lockbox, or
right? Right?
So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we don't break
yeah.
into any houses.
No, or you're pulling weeds because your
Yeah.
client's going to be moving in that afternoon
Yeah.
and the yard looks like crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know you're having to do
Yep.
that or
Yeah. Yeah.
sweep and mop and paint.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
they don't see that part.
Yep. So it's a good, very good point. Is that it's not all sunshine and roses.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
It is a ton of
It's
fun.
a ton of fun.
Especially when you get with the right people.
Right.
When
Oh yeah.
you get with the right people, it's fun. Like we can make it fun.
Yep.
And then your second point,
Follow up.
follow up.
Follow up.
Follow up. The
Follow up.
fortune is in the follow up. That is just, it's key. Like you do a great job with it, even if it's not perfect. Like give your example
Right.
of your Christmas follow up.
Yeah. So
The wildest thing happened
yeah,
with
it
your
was
follow up at
ridiculous.
Christmas, and it wasn't
Yeah.
even Christmas.
It wasn't Christmas.
Christmas
anymore.
had come and gone,
Mhm.
but
I
your
did
Christmas,
the same thing for Easter too.
There you go. So just tell us a little bit about that. How you just do it. Don't worry about it being perfect.
Right.
But
Right. So Christmas came and went. Christmas is always a busy time. But it's like in the back of my head, it's like I have got to reach out to my Boomtown people and tell them, hey, get back in front of them and say Merry Christmas. Spaced it off. So New Year's came and went. I was like, I still have not done that. I've got to get that done.
Yeah.
So January 2nd, Happy New Year's and Merry Christmas a day late. So sorry about that, but I hope you had. And I got a customer off of that.
Yep.
And we went and saw a house and saw 3 or 4 houses and
wrote a contract.
wrote a contract and closed.
Yep.
Yeah.
All off of follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That was
A
it.
day late after
And it
Thanksgiving,
wasn't perfect.
Christmas and New
It
Year's.
was simple.
It wasn't.
It was saying, "Hey, I'm still here.
Right.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's.
Right.
I'm still here. If you
Yep.
need anything."
If you need me, holler.
And
But I
it's
hope you
in
had a great
compilation with the newsletters and the different little pieces of,
Right.
They're still getting homes from you, things like that. Like it's all of it.
Right.
It wasn't the one piece you hadn't talked to them in 2 years, and then
Right.
the one thing.
Right. Right.
Let's just be
Yeah.
transparent about that. But it is so true that the fortune is in the follow up because I can't tell you. I do this thing where I video text a lot.
Yeah.
And so one of the stories that I like to say is back in the fall, I think August or September, I just scrolled to the bottom of my text because those are the people that I've not talked to in about a year.
Yeah.
And so I distinctly remember like, oh my God, seeing a name on there and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I hadn't talked to her in a year. Like it can't be a year since I talked to her.
Yeah.
And so I just threw my phone up and videoed. I said, hey, said their names, and I said, hope you are doing well. If y'all need anything, y'all know where I'm at. Please tell your hubbies I said hello. Within 15 minutes, she's texting me and saying, oh my God, I cannot believe you sent that today. We were just talking this weekend
Isn't that crazy?
that we need to call you because we're ready to sell our house.
Wow.
So I didn't even text back. I picked the
Yeah.
phone up and
Right,
I called her
right.
and I'm like, are you kidding?
We're right here. We're
I'm
ready
on
to
the
go,
way over.
right?
You
I'll be
know?
there.
So-
I'm knocking on the door.
Right. How'd you know that? Like, how'd you know I was in the neighborhood? No, yeah. But
Right.
follow up.
Yeah.
That was just follow up. And
Yeah.
I wasn't even asking or saying anything for real estate. You weren't saying anything for real estate. We preach that among our team.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't do that when I reach out like that because I figure, they're already getting so much stuff that's bombarding.
Yep.
And I'll tell you one thing I did yesterday too was I took I stole some of your content and put it in a little flyer and 5 things not to do
Yep.
when you're under contract.
Yep.
And put it together with this little house, did blah 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 blah, and just sent it out to my people who were in certain groups.
Beautiful.
And said, hey,
Yep.
here you go. I know we're not here, but this can be a bumpy road sometimes.
Yep.
All depends on who you work with. I hope this helps you.
Yep.
And I've gotten like 6 or 7 responses
Always
back
try
from
to
that.
add value to people, Give them something that they don't know.
Right, right.
They might not realize, okay, once I get under contract, I don't need to go buy a new car.
Right.
I can wait until we close to go buy a new car. things like that. I don't need to go and put a house full of furniture on credit.
On credit. Right.
I need to just wait.
Right.
Because I don't want to mess up. I want the house more than I want a new sofa.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
So, but the fortune's in the follow-up. And we preach that amongst our team. And we preach, don't go into it with real estate on the brain.
Right.
So what do I always say? Just about every Thursday during our meetings, we're in the relationship business. We just happen to sell houses.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we build relationships. And through that, like our families have gotten super close through that building relationship because it wasn't about real estate. I knew that a house sale was going to come at some point,
right?
But that wasn't what we were building on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And now Joelle is one of my twins' boat captain on his fishing team, you know? And so it's just, and loves it.
Yeah.
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 And they're like best little buds. I mean, they call and text each other all day
who
long.
Who are you talking
like two
to?
little teenagers. I mean, mine is a teenager, but Joel is like, you know?
Like, what are you doing?
You're like, who are you talking to? And he's like, oh, Cade.
Cade.
I'm talking to Cade.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right? But that's what it's all about.
Right.
It is. Like at some point, the house is going to come.
And you know, and I've been able to build those relationships with some of my clients as well too.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
I've got 2 or 3. I mean, we just went out to dinner with one of them the other night.
Yeah. And you're
you know,
good
and
friends.
we're good
you just
friends
turn
now.
into good friends, you know? And that's what I love about this business is the relationships that are built.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think our team does a great job of cultivating and harnessing those relationships and just trying to stay on top of it. We send out boxes and postcards and email newsletters and we do a lot. Like I'm a little over the top.
Well, and I'll tell you, the pumpkin pie thing at Thanksgiving time, that was a huge hit.
Who would have known we would have gave out 125 pumpkin pies?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. All in a matter of about
crazy.
like 4 days.
Yeah.
Time to reserve them. So it's crazy.
No, it was great.
Yep. Cool.
It was great.
Cool. So. Well, you've done phenomenal in real estate.
Well, thanks.
I'm super proud of you.
Thanks.
Like, I feel like you've only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So do I. Sometimes Hope called the other day and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm questioning my life choices right now."
No, never.
But at the end of the day, it's like, no, there's that voice telling you, you know,
That's
no,
right.
you're where you need to
be. You're
be.
made for this.
You're where you need to be.
You're made for this. So
you'll be all right.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
You'll be all right.
It's gonna be good.
Yep.
So we're now to this portion of our podcast where we're gonna do some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just run down, take as short of a time or as long as a time to explain it, and we'll go from there. So, talking about food, are you a sweet or salty person?
Salty.
I knew that.
Chips.
Yep.
Salsa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, right there.
All right. So when you were growing up, were you a good kid or a naughty kid?
I wasn't allowed to be a naughty kid. I was too much in the spotlight.
I'm gonna
even
ask your
as
mom
a kid.
about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know your mom.
She'll tell you the same
I know, I'm
thing.
kidding. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, I was on the outside. I was a very good kid.
Yeah.
You know,
You just
on the
wanted to be
inside,
so bad.
I
didn't
just
you? On the inside.
You know, there were times.
You're making up for it now, right?
No, I don't know what you're Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
When Drew asked me that question yesterday, I was like, depends on who you ask.
Right.
According to my parents, I was the worst kid ever. But then,
that's funny.
Other people said I was pretty good. So.
No, I wasn't. You know, my situation growing up, my parents were in very, very high level. I don't want to say high level, but very visual roles. Yeah. And so, you know, you just kind of had to
just fit the mold.
You had to toe the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fit the mold. So, all right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about selling real estate?
Hi. Besides getting the check.
Oh my God.
I should have said that. No, it really goes back to the relationships I think that we were just talking about, because I look back even on some of the ones that I was so thankful that they closed, because now I didn't dread that phone call from them every day.
Right.
But I still stay in contact with them, you know. I think of one who said she was I remember standing in the kitchen writing this contract, writing it out. And she looks at me and she goes, "What are we, your first one?" And I went, Nope, you're my second.
I'm being truthful.
I'm just being truthful here. I'm like, no, you're my second one. I wrote one the other day, but no, you're my second one. And it was all I could do, but I won her over in the
That's
end.
right. Yep.
I won her over in the end.
I'm telling you, we have got to do like a compilation podcast of real estate stories because we got some.
We got them.
We got some.
We got 'em. Good, the bad, the ugly.
I'm thinking of one in particular. Me and you were like,
oh, how I wonder how much sleep was lost over that one.
you know, I mean, we know. Yeah. Yeah.
How much
It's a definite podcast.
Yeah.
Compilation of real estate stories. Yeah. We'll have to pin that one out.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah,
how do you
somebody.
like to relax?
Going to the beach. That kind of that does it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're a different person.
I'm gonna go to the beach. You
Different
really
person. Even if you're not doing anything.
are.
Or even if we have to take our work to the beach.
Right. I don't
It's a
care.
different pace.
I'll sit on that porch.
Yeah.
And stare at the water and do my work
Yep.
all day long.
Have my laptop just typing away. But if I can be
Mm-hmm.
looking over the marsh or
That's right.
beautiful sunset or at the beach or something,
That's right.
it's like bring on all the work.
Bring it on.
Because I could sit here all day and do
That's
it.
right.
And there's a lot of days that I am sitting there, and you too. You've been down there with us.
Yep.
And we're both at the table just typing
Just
away,
working away,
and
but that's
hacking
okay.
away at it. But
It's
we're
okay.
somewhere we love to be. So, yep. Cool.
Yep.
So, last rapid fire question. What is the best advice you've ever received?
Ay. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. What's the best? And it probably depends on what season of life I was in
Mm-hmm.
and what I was doing.
Yeah.
This is going to be crazy and so not life-changing at all. But I had somebody tell me once, we were talking about interior design and colors. And she's like, you know what? If you stick with all the colors that you like, it will always match.
I've never heard that, but how
Yeah.
true. Mm-hmm.
Stick with the colors you like, and it will always match, and you'll always like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Nice.
yeah. So how's that for some life-changing
So I guess
advice?
that is because, hope
Yeah.
loves wild
Right.
colors. And
Right.
our house has been painted every shade of her favorite colors, and they all go.
And they all
you know?
go.
Huh.
And they all
Interesting.
go.
Never heard of
Yeah.
that, but it's
Yeah.
very true.
It's really sad that that's the only one I can think
But-
of right now.
All
but
right. So
it's-
what is your favorite color?
My favorite color is probably blue,
Okay. What's your least favorite color?
red.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Can't wear it. Makes me
That's
angry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Makes me angry. So,
Interesting piece of advice. So, but it's very true.
Yeah.
So take
I mean,
that.
it's the best I got.
I love it. I love it. So that wraps up this episode of Traci Arnwine and myself on the Gathering Place podcast. We appreciate y'all joining us. It's
Yeah,
good.
thanks.
It's a
It's
good
been
talk.
fun.
It's
Yeah.
really it's a lot of fun. We never have fun. Never have fun together. So
No laughter.
But no laughter. So but anyways, thank y'all for joining. Tune in for our next Gathering Place podcast, and we will see you then.